morning class. Today we are going to do the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Now after Mendel's laws and work done by him, it became easy to understand the patterns of inheritance and at the gene level and see its relation to the genes. Genes were called factors by Mendel at that time. Now scientists like Sultan and Boveri. Sultan was an American scientist and Boveri was a German biologist. They studied the role of chromosomes and they came to a conclusion that there were a lot of things that were similar in chromosomes and genes, that the role of the chromosomes was parallel to that of the genes. For instance, chromosomes occur in pairs. Genes also have two alternative forms, or we can say gene is represented by a pair of alleles. Then during gamete formation, there is separation of the two chromosomes. The homologous chromosomes which make up a pair get separated at the time of gamete formation. Similar is the case with genes, that the two alternative forms of the gene get separated at the time of gamete formation. Then when fusion of gametes take place, that is fertilization occurs, the two chromosomes come together and the diploid number is restored. One set of chromosomes comes from the maternal set of comes from the mother, or let us say one set of chromosomes is the maternal set of chromosomes, and which comes from the female gamete, that is the egg, and the other set of chromosomes comes from the father, or the paternal set of chromosomes comes from the sperm. And in a diploid organism, the diploid chromosome number is restored, the two sets. And same is the case with genes, that genes get separated at the time of gamete formation, and when the zygote is formed after the fusion of the gametes, the two forms of the gene come together. So based on these, they proposed the chromosomal theory of inheritance, and today we are going to talk about this theory, that is chromosomal theory of inheritance. As I just now told you, it was proposed by the scientist Sultan and Boveri. He was an American, Sultan was an American, and Boveri was a German scientist. And the important postulates of this theory one, as I told you, that zygote is diploid. Zygote, which is a diploid structure, is formed after fertilization. Zygote, a diploid structure, is formed after fertilization. And it is formed by the fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete. So in this, one set of chromosomes are paternal, come from the father in the sperm, in the male gamete, and the other set of chromosome is maternal, comes with the ovum, and when the sperm and the ovum fuse, the zygote is formed. So this is how chromosomes come from. One set comes from the maternal part and one comes from the father's side or the paternal side. Now these chromosomes, they have their identity or individuality throughout the life of an organism. Throughout the life of an organism. And they are structurally unique. They are structurally unique. These chromosomes carry genes. These chromosomes carry genes which are responsible for the transfer of character from parents to offsprings. And during gamete formation, the homologous pairs or the member of a homologous pair of chromosome is separated. And with the genes also are separated. So this is the chromosomal theory of inheritance. And after the chromosomal theory of inheritance, we are going to do about sex determination. Now for sex determination, one has to understand the concept of sex chromosomes and autosomes. Sex chromosomes or allosomes and autosomes. So sex determination is the next topic that we are going to do. Now autosomes, or we also call them body chromosomes. And the other kind of chromosomes are called allosomes or sex chromosomes. Now in a diploid organism which is unicellular, unisexual, in diploid organism which is unisexual, there is either one chromosome or a pair of chromosome which is responsible for the sex of the individual, and such a chromosome is called a sex chromosome. The chromosome in an individual which is responsible for determining the sex of the organism is the sex chromosome, and all the other chromosomes other than the sex chromosomes are the body chromosomes or the autosomes. As we know, in humans there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. 23 pairs means 23 are a part of the maternal set of chromosomes and the other 23 are a part of the paternal set of chromosomes. So together they make 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes. Out of this, only one pair of chromosome is responsible for sex. So that pair of chromosome is called the sex chromosome or the allosome. Whereas the other one pair is responsible out of 23 pairs, one pair is responsible for sex of the human, that is sex chromosome, and the other 22 pairs of chromosomes are called autosomes. So this one has to understand. Now we move to sex determination. Now sex determination, several theories have been proposed for determination of sex, and there are basically three important theories for sex determination. First theory, there are, I told you, three theories or three methods of sex determination. One is the environmental effect on sex. This is related to temperature. So in organisms like crocodiles and lizards, that is reptiles, temperature has an influence on the sex. So in these, what happens if there is high temperature that is available, then that will induce maleness. And low temperature induces femaleness. This is the environmental effect on sex. The other theory states about the genetic effect on sex. Now in this, in case of bacteria, the plasmid has an influence on the sex. The fertility factor is present in the plasmid which determines sex, and there is fertility factor which determines sex. Then in third method or third theory says the chromosomal effect on sex. And this chromosomal determination of sex was put forward by scientists like Wilson and Stevens in the year 1905. And after that, the same work was extended by two more scientists, Morgan and McClung. So all these papers suggested that in unisexual organisms there are one or more than one chromosome, sex chromosomes, which are different in male and female. And these chromosomes which are different in male and female chromosomes are the sex chromosomes, and these are the X and Y sex chromosomes. We know in a male there are two X chromosomes, in a female there are two X chromosomes and 22 pairs of body chromosomes, whereas in a male there is one X and one Y chromosomes and 22 pairs of body chromosomes or autosomes. So this is chromosomal effect on sex. Now we will now discuss the chromosomal determination of sex and of how many kinds it is there. So let us do that. The chromosomal determination of sex . Now, one is that the females are homogametic and males are heterogametic. Now, coming to the terms homogametic and heterogametic. Homogametic means all the gametes produced in the females are going to have the same sex chromosome, that is X chromosome, in case of humans and even in case of fruit fly or Drosophila. And the males are heterogametic, means the gametes have two different kinds of sex chromosomes. As we know, in males, I just now told you, in males there is an X and a Y chromosome. So there are two kinds of gametes that are going to be found. One will have the X chromosome and the other will have the Y chromosome. So the first case where female is homogametic and male is heterogametic is the XX and XY kind of chromosome. Now in this is seen in case of humans, in case of fruit fly, that is in Drosophila, and in in some angiospermic plants. So we are not talking of humans only. So for autosomes I am writing AA plus. In female there is XX chromosome. AA is autosome, and in male this is the genetic constitution of the male and this is the genetic constitution of the female. So in this two kinds of gametes will be formed. These will be the gametes and all are similar. That is why we are calling it homogametic. This can form two kinds of gametes, one with X chromosome and one with Y chromosome. So when fertilization occurs, what are the different combinations that we can get? These are the combinations that are possible. That means this is a male that will be formed, this is a female that will be formed, a male formed and a female formed. So two kinds of sexes are possible. In chromosomal determination of sex, we say two kinds of sexes are possible. Homogametic, where two X chromosomes are there because it forms only one kind of gametes, the females, and hetero because it forms two kinds of gametes. So this is one theory that has been proposed. The second option is where the female under this only XX and X0 type of genetic constitution, which means that the female produces gametes all of the same kind. This is the female. All gametes produced from this are going to be of this kind, whereas the male produces two kinds of gametes. This is female. The male produces two kinds of gametes. One that will have one X chromosome and one kind which will have no X chromosome or no sex chromosome. So if the combination of fertilization occurs, this will be a female that will be formed and this will be a male that will be formed. So this is both cases. One case was this, having two sex chromosomes, XX and XY, two similar sex chromosomes and two different. In this case there is only one X chromosome in the male, so either the male forms a gamete with one X chromosome or with no X chromosome. Now the other case is, these are two cases where female is homogametic and male is heterogametic. If the other case is that males are homogametic and females are heterogametic. Now to avoid confusion, we will not take X and Y as sex chromosomes. We take Z and W. This is just to avoid confusion. Now the second case that I just discussed with you, where we had seen that the female is homogametic and the male either has an X chromosome in the gamete or no X chromosome in the gamete. That case is seen in many moths and that case is seen in insects like grasshoppers and cockroaches. Insects like grasshopper and cockroaches. Now we see when the males are homogametic, that is, we take this genetic constitution for a male, and for a female we are taking ZZ and ZO combination. For a female, the two kinds of gametes that are going to be formed will either have a sex chromosome or no sex chromosome, whereas the male will form only one kind of gamete because males are homogametic, and this kind of genetic constitution is seen in moths and butterflies. So if we work it out, if this combines with this, we are going to get a homogametic male, and if this combines with this, we are going to get a heterogametic female. This is a female and this is a male. The second combination for males being homogametic, let us work it out here so that you can do comparative study. Here the male is homogametic, has ZZX chromosome, and the female has ZW, it is heterogametic. It is going to produce two kinds of gametes. This is autosomes are there, so we will not neglect that. So only one type of gamete, all the gametes formed from this genetic constitution of male is going to be similar, whereas this genetic constitution of female, two different kinds of gametes will be formed. So if these kinds of gametes combine with this, we are going to get a homogametic male like this, and same if this forms with this, we are going to get a heterogametic female. And this kind of genetic constitution is found in fishes and birds. This is chromosomal determination of sex. This is found in moths and butterflies. This is found in fishes and birds, and the homogametic female plus heterogametic male, this is found, as I told you in the first case, where females were homogametic, was found in humans and fruit fly or Drosophila. Then in grasshoppers and cockroaches, we had seen homogametic females and heterogametic males. This was the second combination which we had seen in grasshoppers and in cockroaches. So I have explained the formation of gametes and for sex determination in case of humans, Drosophila, in case of grasshoppers and cockroaches, in case of moths and butterflies, where the male is homogametic and female is heterogametic. Then in case of fishes and birds, again the male is homogametic and the female is heterogametic. So we have seen four different kinds of combinations for sex determination because of chromosomes. Now we come to sex determination in honeybees. In honeybees, which is slightly different from this, because we know that in honeybees the female is diploid, that has 2n number of chromosomes, and the male has only n number of chromosomes, that is, it is haploid. So sex determination, chromosomal determination in honeybees for sex is called haplodiploid sex determination. Now the female is going to form haploid gametes by the process of meiosis, n number. Here the 2n number of chromosomes is 32 and n number of chromosomes is 16 in case of honeybees. The males have 16 chromosomes, the females have 32 chromosomes. So when meiosis occurs, a female forms gametes which will have n number of chromosomes, that means 16, and the male by means of mitosis forms n number of chromosomes, which is 16. So in this case, if this combines, the normal chromosome number 32 is obtained. Normal chromosome number 32 is obtained, and if this alone, say when meiosis occurs, we are going to have two kinds of gametes, N and N, and if this alone develops into an organism, the organism is going to be haploid, N. So a male is formed, and when fertilization takes place, the female having diploid number of chromosomes is produced. So this is called haplodiploid chromosomal determination of sex in honeybees. So this was the chromosomal theory of sex determination, or chromosomal pattern of sex determination. With this we have completed this topic. Now we are going to do linkage and crossing over in the next class.